welcome to Spiced Chaos.
Yep, welcome back, you guys, for another Monday. I hope everyone's having a great Monday. This is Caitlin from Creating in Chaos.
And I am Leanne from SpicedPlans. This is the podcast where we talk to you about planners and all kinds of other stuff. So hopefully you've got your planner pants on and your random pants on and any kind
or no pants on.
Or no pants at all. Because, sadly today I am wearing pants. Caitlin, how about you?
I am also wearing pants. My husband had to take the car to do something, and so I had to put pants on to clean out the car.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Well, let's find out if our guest is wearing pants. Caitlin, why don't you introduce our guest?
Absolutely. So today we have Julie Garza from Julie's Plans. We're so excited to hear.
Hello. I am unfortunately wearing pants.
Oh, wow. All three of us are in pants today. That is so unusual. Believe me, that is super unusual for everybody to have pants on.
I know, right?
So normally I podcast at home in my bed, but today I'm in my classroom because the schedule just got super busy. But, the show must go on.
I'm always in my bed because I work from home. But, pants were a must today.
Well, welcome, Julie. Thank you so much for being with us today. We're so excited to have you as a co-host on Spiced Chaos.
I'm so excited to be here. I really am.
Oh, we appreciate it so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, how was everybody's weekend? Let's start with Julie. Julie, how was your weekend this weekend?
Oh, man. Fast and furious. No. It was actually really good. We had a nice laid back weekend, and I think it was like that because I knew that I was not coming to work this Monday. So
nice.
Oh, what a nice feeling.
I know. Those things are the best.
So Did you do anything fun, or did you just kind of lay around?
It was a pretty relaxing weekend. My husband and I had a little bit of a day date on Saturday. We went to lunch, did some shopping, got caught in a torrential downpour. It was very Notebook-esque.
Oh.
I'm totally kidding.
I love the rain. I would love to be caught in the rain, but
did you
I know.
Guys kiss? Did you kiss in the rain?
Oh, absolutely not. After, we'll be married 22 years in November. We don't do that crap.
We ran in the rain.
Yeah, it's all about running and not falling and permanently injuring your hip at this age.
Or it's like, who's going to go get the car while the other one stands under the shelter?
That's exactly how it was. Yep.
Isn't that sad?
Get to that comfortable spot with your spouse, where you don't have to do all the amateur stuff and you don't have to do all the fluff. I always hated dating for that reason. So I like being at that comfortable spot. I don't know about you guys.
Well, it is important to be comfortable, but every once in a while I think, let's just go outside and have a kiss in the rain, but no, never. It's not. It's not going to happen.
No.
So, Julie, do you ever have a weekend where you just kind of lay around? I feel like when I watch your videos that you're very well planned and that you're busy and that you have high schoolers and, that you guys are always, on the go. So do you ever, like me, just kind of like just veg around and do nothing?
No.
No.
No, that's not true.
No.
There's a lot of weekends like that just because it'll feel like the work week has just like taken everything out of you. And sometimes those are honestly the best weekends because I feel like that's when you actually get to recharge. I feel like if you are just constantly on the go, it's going to come at a cost somewhere,
Oh, for sure.
So I think that those weekends are important. And, it's one of, those things where it's like glorifying busyness. I like to glorify being in my bed.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better. I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Caitlin, how was your weekend?
So, this weekend, it feels like it went by so fast because I was doing a lot of planning for Harrison, my son's 4th birthday. And we actually did like a combined party. So Harrison's birthday is on September 22nd. But there are 2 other little boys in our neighborhood who also have birthdays really close to his. And so we did we called it the trifecta party for the 3 boys. And we bought a bounce house on Amazon because it was cheaper to buy one than it was to rent one.
So now you guys own it in the neighborhood?
Yeah, exactly. And we split it 4 ways. And my only stipulation was that I didn't want to have to store it. It folds really nicely into this box, but I was like, I don't know. I don't want to have to store this thing. So my other neighbor is storing it. But now we have a bounce house, so we can just like text each other and be like, it's a bounce house day. We need to get this thing out because the kids are going crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we have that. And then we got ponies. We had 2 ponies come to the party. So we did a block party where we blocked off the street. And so the ponies were just walking up and down with the kids on it. And we had sidewalk chalk out and we had bubbles going. It was like the perfect weather too. It's been rainy like the whole week before, but it was 70 and sunny yesterday. Like we couldn't have asked for better weather. So that's how my weekend was.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it really does sound amazing. It sounds like a great party. And I know that you have said in the past that you really do birthdays right.
Mm-hmm. And I love to do a good birthday party.
Yeah, I kind of wish that I could have my birthday up there in Portland with you.
Yeah, let's do it. I'll plan you a party. Let's do a happy planner party.
She has a bouncy house now.
I know. I wonder if I would fit in your bouncy house. Is it? Can grown-ups get in?
It's like 8 feet tall. Like absolutely.
Nice.
Well, how was your weekend?
Well, I have gotten in the habit of like completely unplugging and ignoring my phone on the weekend, just like I said in our last episode. And this weekend, I think Caitlin was super busy, so she didn't blow me up all weekend like she did last weekend. Or maybe she's finally got her planner where she wants it, so she doesn't like feel the need to text me every 15 minutes about like, well, then I added this section or then I added this section.
I just hold it and love it and just look at it all day long.
Yeah, I know. Now that you've got your planner piece, you're like, okay, I'm here. I don't have to blow up Leanne anymore.
Exactly.
But yeah, so it was one of those weekends where I felt like I needed to be on Instagram, but I just didn't. I didn't post anything. My daughter lost a tooth on Thursday night, and that's the last thing that I've put on Instagram. And all weekend, I felt like, oh my gosh, I should be like taking pictures. I've got spreads that I haven't taken pictures of, and I need to be getting over there. But you know how I mentioned in our last episode that I was reading that book called The Girls in the Garden?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I picked that book up like with my face instead of listening to it, and I actually read it with my face, and I could not stop. And I read that, and then I picked up another book, and I read 2 books this weekend.
Both with your face, with your hashtag face balls?
Yes, with my hashtag face balls. Like I read a book with my eyes.
Yeah.
2 books. Yes.
That's impressive.
Yay. I know, because I never, and you know, my husband was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm reading. And, you know,
yes.
I'm an English teacher, so I used to read all the time. I mean, I used to just, this used to be my thing. It was my hobby was to read. I used to always be reading. Mm-hmm. But since I had kids, I haven't had time and legitimately, I do kind of ruin my life when I pick up a book because I don't want to do anything else. I just want to read. Mm-hmm. But now I'm finally in a place with my family where they don't need me like they used to. And it's okay for me to sit and read. I read most of the weekend and it was lovely. And I just, I'm remembering now how much I enjoy it. And I think that I'm going to make this kind of like a weekend tradition in the fall and the winter and, to put my cozy socks on and get a nice beverage and just sit down on the weekends and read in my bed and be comfy. And but it was nice because when I needed to put it down, I put it down. If someone needed me or someone needed for me to do something. And it was nice because my son didn't have a baseball game this weekend. They postponed it for something. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, tonight there's a baseball game. So I'm right back out there in the baseball field. But, nice. It was a great weekend.
What position does your son play?
Well, he is still in machine pitch. So they haven't quite divvied out positions like permanently yet. But he is starting to look like he's going to be a really good first baseman. So that's kind of what we're pushing for is like first base.
Nice.
Because he always like really shines when he plays first base. So, his next season when he plays fall, I think we're in fall ball right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only 2 teams and they both just play each other over and over again because not a lot of kids play fall ball.
Yeah.
But when we get to spring ball, which is like real little league, there will be way more teams and way more kids. And there will definitely be more kids, and he's going to be in coach pitch.
Nice.
Yeah, so he's moving on up, and he's enjoying it, and we like to go, and the whole family will be out tonight at the baseball field, and it'll be great. So
I love that.
Yeah. So anyway, and it's been a good day today, so I hope that you guys have both had a good day.
Yeah, it's been busy already for me. How about for you, Julie?
Super productive. It's my day off, but I really like days where I'm off because I can get all the stuff done that I didn't want to do this past weekend, and everyone's out of the house. My husband's at work, my son's at school. My daughter's actually here because she doesn't have class today, but she's older, so she stays out of my way.
That's perfect. Julie, what does your planner lineup look like right now? What planners are you working with? Because I have this beautiful Franken planner that I'm obsessed with, and I just want to know what you're working with right now.
Pretty much everything under the sun. No.
Yeah, we want to know every page, like every single page of your planner. Yeah.
So I a lot of people know that I am like just a diehard Erin Condren user.
Yes.
So I am currently using my Erin Condren Franken Planner hourly because I actually put together 2 life planners because I despise their neutral version this year. Like, I have not kept that a secret
on that.
whatsoever. I mean, it looks like an iceberg landed on it. So I wanted like the neutral week, but everything else colorful. So I just had to put together what I kind of envisioned in the quote unquote perfect planner. I also use their petite planner system, which I am I can now say slightly more obsessed with that than the actual life planner because I don't carry my life planner with me. And let's see, I just use too many.
No, there's no such thing as too many planners right here.
I also use a Erin Condren Monthly Deluxe for all of my content planning. And then just for fun, and I rarely show it, I use a Hobony 2 weeks.
Oh wow. Okay, so tell me about the Erin Condren Petite Planner, because I feel like on your Instagram I've seen pictures of your shelf, and you've been in that you've either been in that for a really long time, or you have a lot of those beautiful like leather covers, or
in all fairness, when the covers launched, or when the petite planners themselves also launched last October, there were only 2 covers to choose from.
Okay.
And then over the past few months, I think they came out with like a turquoise one and then a black one. So then there were 4. But then this last month or so, when there was a launch, they came out with like 10 more colors. Nice. And I can't resist. So I wanted all of them, and I ended up purchasing all of them because I have no willpower whatsoever. But they also work well to store the other books that I have. So they are sitting on the shelf, but wrapped around other petite planners that I'm currently not using. So yeah, I just genuinely love this system. And it's not like I'm new to the TN world. I know that Erin Condren doesn't refer to them as TNs because that's like a trademarked name. But I've used TNs years ago in various sizes. And when this came along, I was like, honestly, like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. I don't know if this is going to work for me. But the simplicity in the system is what I like and what I gravitated towards and what I absolutely needed. I think if any of you guys know, if you look in the TN world, like if you even poke your head in it for a half a second, like there's a whole lot of creativity happening there.
Yeah, there is.
I sort of lost my desire to be that creative, or at least I lost my desire to spend my time being that creative, because it does take time, to make dashboards and place things so beautifully. And I was like, I'm going to have to, sort of pick and choose here. I really wasn't in that mindset where that's where I wanted to spend my time. And that's where I started really pumping out like YouTube videos and things like that. So I had to kind of put something else on the back burner. So when the petite planners came along, I was like, this might actually work. It's really simple. It's easy. It's, not very complicated. And that's just what I needed. And I love them. It's weird.
And that's what you take with you every day, like in your bag?
Every day. Yep, every day in my bag. I don't fill mine like most people. I think the intention is to have 4 books in there. But I mean, these books have like 80 pages of that heavyweight paper that Erin Condren uses.
Yeah.
And those things get heavy. At most, I have 3, sometimes just 2. I just carry what I need. Just because the strings are there doesn't mean they have to be filled, So
Right.
I think that's where things can get overwhelming. Is like I don't really need 4 books with me all day long. I just take my daily, and I've been carrying a wellness with me because I'm really trying to focus on that and eat less cookies and stuff. So
You're doing something similar, right, Leanne, with your wellness group on Instagram?
Yes, I am trying to eat less cookies too. Oh my gosh, I know.
So you guys just need to send me your cookies because I'm still eating all of the cookies.
Oh my gosh. So are you tracking your food? Do you keep your food like tracked in there?
So when I originally started using the wellness log, I wasn't. I was really like, I don't want to track my food. I don't want to know anything about what I'm putting in my body other than when it actually happens.
Right.
And I think that I finally just had to come to like a point where I had to stop being so negative about writing down my food and just be honest about it. Like if I wrote down that I ate pizza, it wasn't a bad thing. Right. I had pizza, right? I just need to document I had pizza because I have a laundry list of health issues. And so, writing down my food has actually helped to identify allergies, things that were irritating me and making me very, very sick. It kind of helped. It was like, I don't want to do this, but I realized that I have to do this, but I had to frame it differently. It's not meant to be a punishment. It's not meant to be shameful about what I'm doing. It's just meant to take an honest look at what I'm consuming. And is it aggravating the problems that I'm having? Am I not reaching my goals because of the choices that I'm making? How could I make different choices so that I not only feel better on the inside, but, also maybe look a little better on the outside.
Mm-hmm. So, and you keep that in the petite planner, your wellness section.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that stays with you all the time. So if you're out and when you're out and eating, you can stick it in there if you are,
I usually if I'm, if I try to remember, I'll try to remember anyway, to write down what I'm eating because it can be so easy to forget. Now, I don't weigh my food. I'm not at that level yet. I just write, if I had chips in a sandwich, I write down I had chips in a sandwich.
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
That's where I am. And you know what? I have to say, it's very eye-opening because I have started this spiced health challenge, and it's amazing how it's actually been split into 2 groups. We have 2 DM groups on Instagram, and it's kind of become where they just kind of talk amongst themselves. I'm not necessarily like leading anything or trying to, be like the leader of these groups because I don't know anything about anything. I need accountability, and
right.
Our goals are mainly like drink your water, track your food, watch your steps, that kind of stuff. Very, very easy. Just, kind of being mindful about these things that will make you feel better. And, if they make us look better, then that's great too. But I think that at this point in my life, I just want to feel better. I mean, to be honest with you, because I mean, I look pretty great. I mean, I am very happy with everything about my appearance. I am a unique individual, but I want to feel good. And I think that, how we feel is definitely so important. And what we are putting in our bodies has so much to do with that. And, I tell them in the group all the time, when they come in and they say, well, I ate the cookies. And I'm just like, you know what? Just track it. Like, as long as you're writing it down, like you just said a second ago about the pizza, like it's not supposed to be a punishment, like,
right.
I had the hardest time, just like you, with writing down everything that I was eating because I didn't want to write down that today I ate this whole bag of chips.
Right.
Well, you know, it's like, it's not supposed to punish me when I write this down. It's just supposed to be like, okay, so today I'm realizing I ate this whole bag of chips and then I felt like crap the next day. You know, like it's just tracking habits and tracking. I felt better on days when I didn't eat this, or I felt, you know what I mean? And it doesn't really matter at this point. You know, Caitlin and I are both in Happy Planners, and you're in the Erin Condren system. It doesn't really matter like what kind of planner or what kind of, you know, brand that we're using. Keeping that stuff written down, it's just so helpful. And I think it's important to say it's not a punishment. And that is, yes. And that is what I have been saying in the Spiced Health Challenge, is just that, you know, guys, it doesn't matter if you ate the cookies, just write it down. Just write down that you ate them. Just watch, just, you know, just make sure that you're writing it down. So, and I think that your petite planners are so beautiful.
Yeah. So pretty.
And, you know, I love that it doesn't matter what planner brand you use. We are all a little bit obsessive about buying and overbuying and buying too many things.
Oh my gosh, right?
Oh, yes.
That FOMO is so real.
Yeah, to say, well, 10 covers came out, so I had to buy all 10.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds just like us, don't you think, Caitlin?
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Except the thing that I like about the Erin Condren is that you don't necessarily have to buy a whole planner to get the cover that you love.
Yes.
I wish the Happy Planner would take a little bit of notes on that end, or sell different covers. They've come out with a couple of different cover packs, but that is not enough for someone who needs to change their planner up every 2 months. So
no, it's definitely
not something that Erin Condren, I think, is doing really well.
I do like that you can go on their website and kind of like, when you get bored, you can just design a new cover.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And I love that one that you have that looks like a marquee.
Yes, that's so cute. And can you write whatever you want on that one? Is that one customizable?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Nice.
You can also pick the color.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's super cute. So, you know, one of the things that, do you believe in planner peace, Julie?
Yes, kind of.
Okay.
There's like a little asterisk there. I believe that planner piece is whatever system is working for you at the moment.
Oh,
I really like that.
Yeah. It's not just one planner all year long. I think, you know, that is frankly a load of BS because, you know, you could like pepperoni pizza this week and you maybe just want cheese pizza next week. It's just what works for you in the moment. I feel like I go through periods of life or seasons of life, like right now, where we're kind of in a little bit of a slow pace. There's not a whole lot of track meets going on. There's not a whole lot of things going on at work. And so my system might need to be altered to fit that. And that right now is my planner piece. Now, next week might be like super hectic and crazy, and I can't even touch my weekly planner. So my planner piece next week will be my daily planner. That's just kind of keeping me glued together each day. And I think that's where people get confused, is that they hear planner piece and they think that means one system only for forever and ever. Amen. And I'm here to say no, and no. That's how you set yourself up for failure with your planning system, because you'll get frustrated. It's not going to work for you 365 days a year. I don't think that there's a single system out there meant to work for you every single day of the year. Now, if your budget or your lifestyle is set up where you can only handle one planner a year, then that's fine. But you have to make that work. And that might mean changing how you use that system to make it work for you and to make it your planner piece.
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
I like what you said, though, because I
Totally
always feel like when I get my planner in January or whenever I get it, I'm like, okay, I have to use this for like the full 12 months, especially I feel like being like a content creator or like an influencer. I feel like people are like, oh, well, I don't ever see anybody using their planner for the full 12 or the full 18 months. Like, let's see how long you can use it. So I feel like that's like a thing that I put pressure on myself about. But then I also, on the other hand, have this like planner ADHD or planner inability to focus where like I feel like I got to change it up. So I really like what you said about that.
Yeah, and I think as content creators, it's a little bit different. I think that we need to be given a little bit more grace because sometimes part of our creating of content is trying new things. We're kind of like the guinea pigs of the community, you know. Yeah, we get sent things to us, and that's all good and well, but it might not be something that you like.
Exactly.
And you just want to try it out to show people how it can be used or how it can work for someone else. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. I cannot tell you how many times I get sent something. The first question is, how are you going to use it? How is this going to work with your system? And I'm like, I never said I was going to use it.
Yeah, I know,
right. Yeah.
You know, I'm like here to provide a service. You know?
Exactly. So, like, just watch the video and be happy with it.
Well, that's like, that's like me and that plum paper planner. Like, I was like, okay, so this is an expensive planner, and they were super nice to send this to me. And they let me customize it and make it however I wanted. And it was a really nice planner, and I really loved the paper. And I was like, I'm going to go all in, and I'm just going to set my happy planner aside, and I'm really going to try this. But it just wasn't for me. And, you know, and I saw your, you know, I saw that you had, you know, taken apart your planners and that you, I don't know. I don't know if you have a video like where you've actually recoiled things, but you've talked about recoiling, and a lot of people on YouTube have talked about recoiling. So I have uncoiled and recoiled and tried all kinds of like different ways to like make peace with this plum paper planner because they sent it to me and I was like, this is going to work for me. And finally, I just had to put it down and say, I can see how this could work for someone.
Right.
That this is a great planner. And that, you know, still, Caitlin, 3 episodes later, no one has sent a DM to say that they
wants that thing.
Nobody wants that plum paper planner. I have offered my plum paper planner. I have offered it up, Julie, like 10 times, and no one has sent me a DM to say, send me your plum paper planner. Nobody wants that plum paper planner.
You gotta go into the plum paper Facebook group or something and be like, here, take this thing, take it away.
Well, I thought that maybe somebody would just be like, as a souvenir of Spiced Chaos, like, please just send me your plum paper planner. But no, like nobody wants that thing. So anyway, I know I set it down and I went back to my happy planner, and I'm, you know, finally finding some peace. But I am so right there with you in that, okay, so right now, this month, this is what's working. And if I notice that next month it's not working anymore, I will move into a system that is working, and I will keep changing every month until, you know, it doesn't work anymore. And I think that that's beautiful. And I just love that. And Caitlin right now has all this beautiful planner piece, and
I do.
You know,
I love it so much.
She's loving her setup so much right now. And
I have a funny story about it, actually. So my daughter like picked up my planner and was like walking around with it, and she's 12, and I was like, you need to put that down. You need to put that down right now.
She's in dangerous territory.
Yes, don't touch that.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I know. And I'm the same way with mine right now because I'm super in love with mine at the moment as well. And how long have I been in mine, Caitlin? I feel like mine has been, you know,
you're in the Stargazer, right? So since that thing got sent to you from Merkai, when was that?
Yeah. Okay. So, no, when I moved into the monthly layout, which would have been like right at the beginning of September, I moved into the monthly layout.
September.
Yeah. So I'm about a month and a half into my current layout, and it's working for me. So I'm not changing up anything.
That is serious planner commitment right there.
A month and a half. A month and a half is a long time. Okay. I was, you know, when you said that you, Julie, when you said that you didn't like the neutral hourly and that you took the colorful, I don't know the Erin Condren lingo.
Colorful and neutral, right? Is that right?
Colorful. They just have colorful and neutral.
Right. Okay. So you have the colorful dividers with the neutral hourly like innards. Is that right?
Yes. Correct.
Yes. Okay. So, and you were like, so I uncoiled it and then I put it all back together. That is so scary to me. Like that is a scary moment when you decide
big
that
job.
you're going to, it is a big job, but I mean, it really, I timed myself with my plum paper, and it really only took me probably 25 or 30 minutes. It really didn't take that long.
Yeah, it doesn't take very long at all. And once you've done it a few times, like I think my time now is like 5 minutes. But
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
That should be a YouTube video. Timing.
Do you have a video on your channel of yourself uncoiling your planner?
I do not. I haven't actually ever done that. Now I did some Insta stories of like the process, like, so of course it was only just a total of a minute, but yeah, it was really quick. Now this one probably took a little bit longer only because I had to keep grabbing pages from each planner to put together.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're just trying to change like the color of your coil, you're just trying to add some notes pages, that's different. I will say that is one thing that makes Happy Planner so much easier than Erin Condren.
Yeah.
Because I have an insane amount of Happy Planner stuff. It's crazy.
Nice. I did not know that you had. I knew that you got the Be Happy box, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I didn't know you had all this Happy Planner stuff.
I am, maybe not as intense as the Happy Planner community, but when stuff comes out, I end up at Michael's and I'm like,
oh, nice.
I need this. And then I'm like, I don't really need this, but it looks cute.
Cute.
I have a micro, I have the notes, I have at least 2 planners for 2019 that are Happy Planner. I have the wellness planner. It's
nice. So you feel us.
Nice.
So you feel Happy Planner.
And changing things in and out is like a matter of seconds.
Yes.
Whereas, for the Erin Condren, you are really risking like life and limb.
It's so scary.
Maybe a broken nail because you gotta bust out the fancy pliers. I actually have special coated pliers because I've done this so many times.
Or what if you break your coil? Like the one time
if you break your coil, your life is over.
It's over. That's the end. I broke a coil, and it was like after that, the planner never behaved the same.
Correct. Yeah, you only get so much extra coil, so if you snap off that end, you're done.
Well, I did snap it off. I snapped it right off. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. I know. Well, I didn't know what I was doing. I was watching a YouTube video and it looked so easy and they just bent it right back in place and I bent mine and it just was like, sorry, see you, sister. And it just came right off and I just yeah.
Does the coil go back to how it was? Like, is it stretched out or anything? Like, I'm just trying to visualize how it
Mine
works.
was way stretched out. Mine was really a big mess.
Did you use coated pliers?
I don't know what I used, but when you talked about how you had friend complained yours, I got like all kinds of anxiety and I was like, oh, Julie, no. So I think that it's awesome that you've done it enough that you're good at it because I was not.
You've got to use coated pliers because I think if you use regular pliers, it damages I'm going to get like real fancy with metal and stuff, but it just damages the integrity of the metal of the coil, which means that the part where you unbend it becomes a little bit thinner and it's going to snap. If you use coated pliers, if you use coated pliers, with the plastic or rubber coating, you're not smushing that metal and everything is staying intact and it's going to be good, I promise.
Okay. Well, and I don't foresee myself needing to do it again. But I am, it was something that I was trying. I try everything. I mean, it's just, I had some pages from an Erin Condren that I thought, you know what, I kind of like this layout and I like the layout of the plum paper. So I'm just going to like splice them together and see like if I want to have these two things together. I just was playing around and it's like, who cares? It broke and it was whatever. And I ended up back in my Happy Planner in like a month anyway. So it really didn't matter. But at the same time, I was like, oh no, this is not good. I had another coil that I could use on a different planner. It just, I don't know. It was very interesting to practice and to watch the videos and to learn. And, I do kind of get a little bit of like, get the vapors when anybody talks about they're uncoiling their planner. I'm like, no.
I know. I feel that anxiety because I feel like I am not very like meticulous about those kind of things. Like even in my planner, I'm not like super picky if like a sticker is crooked. So I feel like I would get the coil back on there and it would just look like a hot mess. Like I'd be like, it's fine.
Well, it's my planner, so who cares?
Exactly.
I know, but your planner always looks good, Julie. So you do a good job.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But you don't take your life planner with you everywhere.
No, I don't. And the thing's pretty heavy. I mean, like I said, EC has like great paper, but the thing weighs a ton, and I don't want to risk, pages getting bent. I'm not particularly gentle with everything that I use. So
right.
I just found that if I had the daily with me, I didn't really need the weekly to carry around with me, and it was just enough. And the stuff gets heavy to cart around back and forth. So I was just like, just one planner for now. Yeah.
Right. Well, of all of the Erin Condren that I have seen that I think I would love the most, it is their monthly. And you said that you do have that. I think that I would love, because isn't it like the one that's like the 8x11, or it's the bigger size, isn't it?
You can get the deluxe monthly in two sizes, the 7x9 and like the standard. I think it's 8x11 or 8x10.
Okay. Which size do you use?
I use like 7x9 everything from EC. I feel like I've been brainwashed into that size. Like anytime I touch a planner that's like normal size, I'm like, this thing is ginormous.
Yeah, I have a big
I totally
planner
feel
like
that way too.
Yeah, I have a big planner. I have a big planner for my work planner. And Caitlin just moved to Classic for her work planner.
I was using a big one, but
you're not gonna last. You're gonna go back to that big planner for your work planner.
Well, now
I'm just
saying it just because you said that.
Challenge accepted.
Leanne Spicer, I don't think we've met.
But yeah, I love
Classic forever.
I do love that Erin Condren monthly layout. I haven't ever bought one because I'm like, I know that I'm not going to stay in it, so there's no point in.
It's worked really well for me. I use one for my content planning, so for everything on my channel, and I didn't really plan things for Instagram. I don't like to plan out that content. I think it just comes off as a little inauthentic, but for YouTube and stuff, it's definitely been a game changer.
It's perfect for that. I can totally see how it's perfect for that. So,
okay, so we talked a little bit about how you do use some Happy Planner products, which I was shocked about. So tell us a little bit about like your experience of like ordering the Be Happy box, or like maybe some of your favorite Happy Planner items and that kind of thing, since we know you're an Erin Condren girl at heart.
Yes, oh my God, that Be Happy box, the one with the collab with Amy Tangerine is what sold me on that box, because it was just so bright and colorful, and I was like, I don't care if I never touch this thing, I need to have those discs. Like, they're perfect, and you can't get those discs in store because it doesn't have, I think it's the green disc. So the rainbow discs in store don't have the same color. Yes, I know this.
Yes. Right.
Yes, those rainbow discs are amazing. The Amy Tangerine ones.
Yes. And so I even convinced my mom to get that box. She loved it so much.
Wow.
Is your mom a planner? She is now. She discovered YouTube, and she found my channel last month.
She didn't know you had a channel?
I feel like I've told her all of these things, and she doesn't always listen.
Okay. And I feel like it's the same with my parents too. Like, I told them that I had a YouTube channel, and they're like, oh, okay. Like, what are you doing on there? Like, they don't really get what it is, you know?
My parents don't understand my Instagram at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love the box, and I already knew what I was going to do with it from the very beginning. I actually took the entire insides out of that planner and just filled it with notes pages, because I love using a Happy Planner for that, just because it's so easy to take things in and out. And honestly, like I think that I love Happy Planner so much because I love Stephanie Fleming so much.
I feel like
it's like, even though I probably may not use it daily, or I just use it for notes, like I just still want to support the brand because I know that it's supporting her, and that's what matters. And we had like a pretty memorable moment. Maybe it was more memorable for me, but I am in her planner, so that is that matters. Like, I took a screenshot of
Totally
that. Okay. So we took
She's
a picture
wonderful.
together in Nashville at Go Wild, and she put that picture in her planner, and I about passed out. But
Oh my gosh,
so
that's
cool.
wonderful.
the funny story is that we were actually getting ready to walk to Plan Jamma, and we were walking behind her and her daughter Kayla, which my daughter's name is Kayla, so I knew, oh my God, we're BFFs.
Exactly.
And I just said hi, and she said, "Hi, Julie." And again, I almost passed out. I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "Wait, you know who I am?" And she was like, "Of course I know who you are." And I, like, the waterworks started. I was like, "What is wrong with you?"
Oh, I think I just peed a little bit, and that didn't even happen to me.
I just had goosebumps from that story.
And I was like, "I'm sorry, I just need a moment. I had no idea that you knew who I was."
Oh, that's so sweet.
But it was just a great moment, and it just spoke to how real of a person she is. I don't consider myself to be anyone on the internet. I'm just sharing what everyone else is sharing. And when someone like that recognizes you, and they're so, they have their own brand, all of this amazing stuff, it just, made you realize that she is truly about the community. And it just kind of melted my heart. And I was like, I don't care if I never use this stuff. I'm buying it.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Hey,
I love that so much.
Yeah.
Babes support babes. We
That
do.
is
Yes.
babe support babes for sure.
For
Exactly.
Sure, yeah.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you met Erin Condren?
I have several
You
times.
have? Was she? Oh, well, because you've been to Go Wild.
Yes, I've been to Go Wild.
So I'm assuming. Well, and
Every year.
you spoke at a planner conference, the Sugar Girl.
Yes.
What?
The New York City. Yeah, Sugary Gal. Yes.
Yeah,
Sugary Gal Shop
that's
New York
right.
Conference. Yes.
That's right. I keep forgetting that you're like super awesome and like out there and like you, like I'm just talking to you like you're my friend now, and I just keep forgetting
we are
that. Yeah.
Oh, but you really are someone, Julie. I do just want you to know that you really are someone in the planner.
You really are.
And a lot of us.
You're like, I'm no one.
You.
You're like, I'm no one on the internet, and I'm like, well, actually, you are kind of someone on the internet.
You're kind of a big deal, as Ron Burgundy would say.
Oh God, I love him. Let's go streaking in the quad.
Yeah,
that's a different movie, but I don't care.
Let's go wild.
Let's all go right now.
No. But yeah, I have met Erin Condren. She's amazing as well. She's so down to earth. Like, I think that we always kind of put these people like on a pedestal, like they're bigger than life and all this stuff, but they're just like us, they're just trying to make it. So, obviously they have made it a lot further than the rest of us.
Exactly.
But I love that they're so immersed in the community, because I feel like when you see other items on the shelves at stores, you're not seeing their people at events. Exactly. Or maybe you are, it's a whole different community. But I feel like it's really, really amazing that the creators of these products show up to these events and talk to the people that are buying their stuff. I think that's what changes my mind about some brands. Like if I try something, or I'm given a planner, I've never even met the people, or they only ever send their people, I'm just like, I feel like they're not as invested in the community. So yeah, I appreciate the brands that actually do show up,
Well, and that's one of the things that makes it hard for me about the planner community. And that sounds like a negative statement, but really what I'm trying to say is a positive thing, is that I have been sent, and I'm no one on the internet, but I have been sent stuff from Bloom planners, and I have been sent stuff from the Plum Paper planner. And then I think that there was one other one, the Paper House Productions. You guys know them?
Oh, yes. Do they do the Harry Potter one?
Yes, they sent me some
that's
Harry Potter stuff too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all three of those planner companies are so nice. The people that work for them are so wonderful. And like the communication that I had with those companies, they make me wish that I could just like totally switch their planners altogether.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just, it's not that I don't want to, it's just that their systems just didn't work for me.
Right.
And, and it's almost like I wanted to say, like, I wish that I could, send them an email and say, like, thank you so much for considering me and looking at me and for any reason and saying, hey, you're worthy of like promoting our products, because that's so flattering.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Like, I could not believe that they looked at me and said, hey, we would like for you. Oh, yeah, and there was another one, the Wordsworth planner.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard of them before, too.
Yeah, it's the cutest little planner. Like, there's so many planner companies out there that the people that work for them are so nice.
I agree.
And I want so badly to say I use all of these planner systems, but I just can't. I just can't use them all. And Happy Planner is my favorite, and I just love it so much. I can't. I can't quit the Happy Planner no matter what.
No, it's that paper crack.
Even though all of these companies have been so kind to send me stuff, and I, have tried them, and I've legitimately like tried them in my daily life to see like, could I make this work? Just because the people that work in those companies are so nice, but I just, they show up at these events, and I know that, I'm hoping to get to go wild this year for the first time. And,
I'll be there too.
Yes.
Oh, yay.
And I feel like that I'm finally going to get to meet some of these people that I've only ever just talked to online. I want to say, thank you for sending me this big box of stuff.
Right? I know. And I'm going to be hugging everybody. Like, just get ready. I'm going to walk up to you and just hug you. This is how it's going to go.
I'm so sorry that I didn't switch to your planner. I just feel so bad, but there's, everybody has to use what works for them.
Right. Absolutely.
So it's just, but that's what's so beautiful about this community is that the people that are out here making these products really are in the community talking to us and like interacting with us. And, even
people from the beauty community in like the DMs with the people who wear their makeup,
Well, I don't know who runs MAC, but I seriously doubt that they're in the DMs with the people that wear their makeup. So no, I know what you mean. So
yeah.
Oh, but yeah. Well, I think it's awesome that you own that Be Happy box. That's been my favorite Be Happy box by far. That planner.
I love the Teresa Collins one.
Yeah, that one is very you.
I missed, I think it was like maybe the very first Be Happy box with that beautiful coffee mug that says like live creatively.
Yeah.
On
it.
Yeah. I might have an obsession with that because I missed out on it. I've been so sad.
If all you want from that is the coffee mug, I could probably send you that.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm not currently using that coffee mug for anything but like a cup holder.
I would absolutely love that. I have a coffee cup obsession, and when I miss out on one, I lose sleep over it. Over it. It's a little crazy.
Did you buy the Teresa Collins Be Happy box and get that coffee cup?
I did not, just because I figured the only thing I would want out of it was the dang coffee cup.
See, I'm way more attached to that coffee cup than I was the one that came in the first Be Happy box because of what it says.
Yeah.
Because I loved what it has this message on it that's like, just letting you know that you can handle whatever this week throws at you or something like that.
Like that's awesome.
When I read that, like I actually feel kind of motivated or
right.
I don't know, uplifted or almost like this cup really loves me.
Right.
But yeah, I can totally send you that coffee cup.
Oh, thank you so much. That just made my day.
Yeah, you can have that because I can't remember the last time I even saw that coffee cup.
Oh no.
Yeah. But I loved everything else in that box. But I have a nice coffee cup collection, but that one is too small for my coffee needs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I know. And on them, they say they're not dishwasher or microwave safe. So just a heads up with that.
Good to know.
Yeah. So just put it on your desk and be like, SpicedPlans sent me this, and it's from Happy Planner, and it's cute, and just it's not you're not going to want to put your coffee in it. It holds about like 4 drops of coffee.
Yeah.
I'll wash it before I send it to you. I'm not going to send it to you with like my pencil shavings in it.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right. So
something we really like to do on this show is talk about what we are doing from our Currently page. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Currently pages in the Happy Planner or not. But there's a list of several items for what you're currently doing this month. So we want to know what you are currently doing, and I'll run through the categories one at a time. So First up, what are you currently reading, or are you reading anything?
I am reading the book Influencer.
I'm reading.
I don't have the book right in front of me to remember her name. I'm so bad with names.
I have my laptop in front of me, so I'm gonna look it up.
I have it on my Audible, so I'll pull that up too. I'm reading that one too.
I am obsessed with that book. Like, I was really apprehensive about getting it because of the name of the book, and because I feel like, and maybe we've all played a part in it, that the word influencer has been given a very negative reputation. And in the way that people think that influencers are just about getting free things, or they're just there to force you to buy things. And that might be like 2% of the job.
Yeah.
And what I really enjoyed out of this book was it was just so truthful about so many of the things that I was lacking in my job as an influencer, and owning the fact that, yes, I have a job as an influencer. And also, once I've owned that, to not feel shameful of it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I hate the word influencer.
Yeah.
That's like, essentially saying you hate that people have that as their job. I would never take a dig at anyone for whatever job that they're doing to put food in the table. Obviously, this is not my full-time job. It's my side hustle. I do it for fun. I literally spend every dime that I make, like, pumping it back into the planner community, because I do not want to see this crap on my taxes. So, it allows me to keep buying and upgrading things that I'm using so that I can share with the community. And that's what it is. And it really, like, the book was kind of like a wake-up call of how to do better, how to be better, how to serve my community better. And that was just mind-blowing to me. And it kind of like lifted that veil of constantly thinking that if you're an influencer, that is a bad thing. It is a legitimate job. It is a good job if done well. And it has great rewards if done well. And that's what I'm really, really loving about this book, is that, and I'm loving seeing that other people got it and that they are loving it as well, because I think a lot of people didn't pick it up because we just kept hearing how influencer was just a horrible thing.
Yeah, we actually talked about that when we had Heather Kell on the show. We talked about how we didn't like the word influencer, and she said she refers to herself as a content creator because she doesn't.
I do the same thing on my business cards. It does say content creator because essentially it's pretty much the same thing. An influencer either has a blog, a vlog, YouTube, Instagram. All of it is creating content on different platforms. So, call it what you will. They're pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I think that influencer is just the effect of what a content creator is. So you can create content, but the effect that you have is that you might have influenced someone to make a decision or make a different decision or try something that you have tried. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So to say that influencer is such a yucky word, it's really not.
Okay, so is this the one by Brittany Hennessy?
Yes,
that's the one.
Yes.
That's the
one. Okay, so I am definitely going to add this to my list.
Add it to your Audible right now.
Yes, I actually am, because I finished 2 books over the weekend, and I'm not currently reading anything, so I'm going to just go ahead and add it to my library. That's what I'm going to do.
I really, really like that book, and ever since I probably have like 10 pages left in it, which I've probably already skimmed over, but I want to reread. But it really has me like hating my Instagram name right now.
Oh no.
It talks about, your Instagram handle and how it shouldn't have an underscore in it. And I'm like, holy crap.
Oh, mine does too.
I went to try and find my name without the underscore, and it's already taken. And I'm like, I wonder how much I could bribe that person to
change there.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to change it. But I was like, what? No underscore? Are you kidding me?
Why? Why?
I don't know. I think it kind of comes across as, I'm trying to remember what she had said in the book, but it was just kind of like just a little too complicated, or it should just be your name or, the name of your brand, and no, like, funny characters or, silly things, like maybe something you would have used in high school. So
oh, man, I'm gonna have to change that.
As I was reading it, I was like, okay, I've got a laundry list of things I need to work on.
Okay. Well, I mean,
yeah.
All right, so I
Yeah.
need to start listening to that today when I'm on my way home from work for sure.
So the book is actually great because there's actual like snippets of, you know, what do you call it? Like quotes from different influencers that could offer their advice or things that they've learned. So it's not just from the author, which is really, really cool.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm gonna get that in my Audible like now.
Yeah.
Those Audible credits.
Well, that is really cool because I need something else to read, and so I thank you for that suggestion.
All right, girl, what are you planning? That's the next thing up on our currently page. What are you planning?
So right now I'm actually planning a sort of little mini getaway for my husband and myself because November 14th will be our 22-year wedding anniversary.
Oh my gosh,
Oh my
congratulations.
gosh. That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. So we're just trying to plan something possibly local, but at like a nice resort / spa, because we both agreed that we need a couples massage like ASAP.
That sounds so nice.
Yes, it does. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So that's what I'm planning. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. That's so fun. Caitlin, what are you planning? Because we got to do our currentlies this week too. So what are you planning, Caitlin?
We are actually so along the same vein, and this is actually what I wrote down, and this is I'm telling you, Julie and I are soul sisters. Our anniversary is October 10th, and so this weekend we're gonna have a little date night for our 9-year wedding anniversary. So I'm planning a date night as well.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's me. How about you, Leanne? What are you planning?
Oh no. I think, you know what I wrote down on my currently? I'm planning a deep clean of my house.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, and you know how like you clean your house? Like, okay, yeah, you do. You know how okay, so did y'all hear that little ding?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's okay though.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I just got a text message, but that happens.
Yep.
So you clean your house, you do your bathrooms, you have your like cleaning schedule, whatever. But I mean, like, I am going to go through drawers. I'm going to go through closets. I'm going to start in one room and I'm going to clean out all the cabinets and I'm going to clean out all the drawers and I'm going to, and just get out all of the garbage and just take things to the recycling center and just get everything out. And I'm going to start in like the front bathroom and just make my way all the way through the entire house and just do an overhaul. And I haven't done that in a couple years.
Oh,
and for some reason, I did that a few years ago, and I promised myself we are not going to junk it up again. But it just happens. Like stuff just, like stuff just comes in, and I don't know if it's because I feel like that there's just so many of us that live there. And I mean, I only have 2 kids, but it just feels like a lot of people live in my house.
I hear that.
And Julie, I don't know, you have older kids than Caitlin and I. So,
Yes.
when they get bigger, do they have more stuff? Is it worse?
Yep. They have more stuff. They make bigger messes. They don't even try to clean up after themselves. I was actually just cleaning. I was just cleaning chocolate milk off of the stool that Nathan sits at in the morning. I'm like, wow, I have a toddler.
But wait, isn't he a junior in high school?
Yeah, he's 17.
Yeah, so
it never ends.
He's still drinking the chocolate milk and getting it all over the place?
Yep. It never ends.
No,
never ends.
It's supposed to stop. It's supposed to go away.
No.
And see, my husband and I are like, we one of the things that we're planning to, like, on our 5-year plan. You know how you and your spouse, you always have like these dreams for, the future. And, we want to sell our house and move to somewhere bigger because the kids are going to get bigger and they're going to take up more space and blah, 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 blah. Well, before you sell your house, you have to put some equity in it and you have to like fix the floors and fix the, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, I hear that no one loves their house quite as much as they do until the day before they sell it or whatever. So we're going to put all of this beautiful money into our home, and then I'm going to want to stay and he's going to want to go. And, but we're going to do all these things to start fixing things up. And we have all these plans. And, part of that is definitely, having to clean things and, start throwing things away. But, I want to like put put in new floors and stuff, but I keep saying we need to wait until like the puppy is not a puppy anymore, until the kids are not little anymore. But if they're still spilling things when they're juniors in high school, then there's no point in waiting. Like, why wait?
Yep. There's no point in waiting.
They're just going to keep spilling no matter what age they are. So, okay. All right. Well, anyway, well, that's what I'm planning. I'm planning to, over the next few months, I would like to, by the end of 2019, be done with my deep clean of the house so that I can, begin 2020 with like this beautiful, clean house so that we can start our like new renovations and things like that in the new year and get the house ready to sell and maybe move.
Do you have like a system that you're using or like any planner checklists that I can download and steal?
Well, I will have when I figure out the system that I want to use. I'm thinking that I'm just going to kind of start in one room and just like every week is going to be like 2 rooms a week. And I don't know yet, Caitlin. Just stay tuned.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I'm just always looking for good cleaning checklist.
I'm not really on the spot because I've definitely thought about it. I mean, it's, this is one of those things that I'm planning it. So I've definitely thought about it, and I'm going to need my planner to help me. I don't do anything without my planner at this point. So, there'll be a section in my planner now for this project. I just don't know exactly which room I'm going to start in or how I'm going to space it out. I'm not the kind of person that can take on, I can't clean for 6 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to need to do this in small bites. It's going to have to be baby steps. So, I'll let you know when I have a system in place and I will share it with you.
Cool. That sounds good. All right.
So what's
Julie,
next?
Yeah. What are you watching, Julie?
Ooh.
I am actually watching the show Shameless. I'm like 9 years late.
Oh, me too. I haven't ever started it.
Yeah, me either.
But we started it maybe a couple weeks ago. It's right up my alley with my types of shows where it's just a little bit more raw. I don't really like things like Hallmark movies.
I'm totally there with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like really fall for all of that stuff. I need like some drinking and some drugs and some violence on my shows.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for the Breaking Bad movie that's going to be coming out soon.
Ooh, yeah, me too.
Yeah, oh my God, when that show ended, I cried.
Oh.
But I also cried
it was
when
a
Game
good
of
show.
Thrones ended, so.
Yeah.
Those are my kind of shows, though. I liked a little bit more intense, like not so, mushy and romantic or not so family oriented. Like I know a lot of people watch like This Is Us, and I'm like, I can't be sobbing every single week.
You need some violence. You need to see some violence. Yeah. Get it out.
I'm the same way with This Is Us. I cannot watch that. I tried so hard to watch that, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. It can be hard, I think, if you have smaller kids. When your kids are older, that stuff is easier to watch. I feel like, I don't know, we still shut our door. Like our kids are 20 and 17, and we're like, this is for adults, and they're like, we are adults. I'm like, no, you're not.
I'm sorry. There is never a time when it's okay to watch Game of Thrones with your children. In fact, okay, so Caitlin, you have an advisory at your at your school, right? You have it. Okay, so my advisory was in the room the other day, and they were having this conversation about how their dad was like trying to watch Game of Thrones with them, and I was like, you can't watch Game of Thrones with your dad. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care if you're 25. I don't care if you're 32 and your dad is 62.
My daughter did just start watching it, but we never allowed her to watch it before. Now, granted, she's 20, and when the show started, she was 10. So there's it's big difference.
Yes,
but yeah, I won't watch it with her though. It's weird. I won't watch it with her. Because there's just some scenes I don't want to watch with my child sitting next to me.
No, but, feel awkward now, no matter how old they are.
Yeah, exactly. So she's watching it on her own and has like all kinds of questions, and we'll talk about it, but we don't watch it together.
Exactly, and that's what I said to my kids. I was like, you know what? Everyone should watch it, but you watch it in separate rooms, and then you come together and you discuss it. But there's no reason to watch it when you're with your parents. Like that's not it's not a watch with your parents kind of show. It just isn't.
Yeah.
And you know, my students are seniors in high school, so I think that they're fine to watch Game of Thrones. But you know, when it first started, they were not old enough for sure.
Yeah. Now, what I do love that my kids are watching is Friends, and they're watching it together and in order, and they will not watch the next episode without the other one being there. And I love that.
Oh, that's super
so
sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're totally into it. And then I'm constantly reminded that I'm a Monica, and I'm like, I never said I wasn't.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome to be a Monica. I always wanted to be a Monica.
Yeah. If you ever see pictures of my house or my living room and you see that armoire that's in the living room, that is my Monica closet, and everyone knows not to touch it, because if you open it, I am not responsible for any injuries that happen to you with things that fall out of there. So
I love it. Oh my gosh. I so wish that I could be a Monica. I can't. I'm seriously, like, I'm so envious of people that clean for stress relief.
Yeah, that's me. That's totally.
I am that way too.
I think that's awesome. I eat for stress relief. Like that's what I do when I'm stressed, or when I'm happy, or when I'm sad.
I clean, or I take on massive home projects. Like when we were stuck at home for Hurricane Dorian, I decided I was going to start painting my entire house.
Oh, see, that to me just sounds miserable. Oh my God.
And my husband just stayed out of my way because he knew that I was highly stressed out, and he was like, I want you to know that I'm not just not helping. I was like, I know. Can you get out of my way?
I need to dust this thing over here. I missed a spot with the paint.
Oh my gosh.
He just knows to stay out of my way, and he'll just come and check on me. You okay? Because there's a lot of fumes in here.
So how do I become that person? How do I turn myself into that person?
Born that way.
Yeah, I think it's like Maybelline. Maybe you've got it. Maybe you're born. I don't know. Maybe it's Maybelline.
You're probably right.
Mine, I'm like more, not necessarily stress relief now that I think about it. I'm more of an angry cleaner. So Brian knows that like he has really messed up if I've like cleaned the house top to bottom. He's like backs away slowly.
Yeah, my husband is an angry cleaner too. Like if we have an argument, he goes and just cleans the kitchen. So yeah, sometimes I'm just like, I'm gonna mess up because he's gonna go vacuum something.
Just pick a fight.
Just pick a fight so he'll go clean.
That's awesome.
Oh man. Okay, so next up on our currently page is, what are you eating? We talked a little bit about like health and eating and stuff, but what are you eating right now?
She's not eating cookies.
She's not. That's right.
Oh man, like pretty much everything. I don't diet. I don't like anything that's restrictive. So my honest answer is I'm eating everything.
Good. That's good.
I feel like everything in moderation, like even cookies. Like, did you know that Oreos are in servings of 2?
2. That is so wrong to me.
It's 2 or 3 at the most. I did not know that. I was like, oh my bad. So like 9 Oreos before bed is like not okay.
It's not okay. I know.
Yeah, that's like a thing on YouTube right now. People are like, I'm just gonna eat the actual servings that are.
It's
like,
so hard. I tried it. It's
hard.
Just, I don't know. I'm like, you could die tomorrow. Eat the 9 Oreos.
Exactly. That's my thought. I really try to eat like intuitively. So
yeah. I have tried to do better about not eating before bed, just because I know how sick I'll get. And I have to have cookies with milk, which I'm also not allowed to have. I discovered right after my total hysterectomy last December that I am lactose intolerant, and I found out the very difficult way. And I got really, really sick, and it doesn't help when you're healing from having so much of your insides removed. I've just had to like kind of avoid it. But as far as everything else, I don't really restrict myself. I just try not to eat the whole bag of chips. Maybe I'll leave like 2 chips behind.
Exactly.
2 bites. Just leave a couple bites. That's
what
I tell myself. Just leave a couple bites so that you just look a little bit more modest. You know, like,
or I'll try to like drink more water. You know, it balances out the bag of Skittles I ate.
My husband does that, and I'll pick up the bag of chips with like 2 left in it, and then I'm like, really? You put this away with 2 chips in it?
I know. My kids get so mad when I hand them like the box of Cheez-Its and there's like 8 Cheez-Its left in the bottom. They're like, what is this? This is not even worth our time. You need to go to the store.
Oh my gosh.
Now I am
I didn't eat them all.
Yeah, I am loving this like almond milk creamer. I want to say it's by Silk. I'm not sure. But their options are so much better than they used to be years ago. And again, I have to stay away from like dairy creamers. So I had to pick a non-dairy, and I love them. Absolutely love them.
The Silk ones are so good.
Yeah, they have flavored ones. So there's caramel, vanilla. You don't feel like you're missing out, and I don't get sick, which is great.
Yeah,
they have a pumpkin one. They have a pumpkin spice one that's really, really good. And I don't know if it's limited edition, but when I was looking for the pumpkin spice creamer for my coffee when it got to be fall, that's the one that I reached for, was the Silk almonds one, and it's super good.
Yeah. Now I did try the Starbucks pumpkin spice creamer, and I have to say, even though it's something I shouldn't be drinking, I wanted to try it anyway, because as much as I love pumpkin spice, I can't actually drink a lot of pumpkin spice lattes. I get super sick.
But they're not very good. The creamer is good.
Well, I still like them.
Yeah.
But I find that the creamer itself is less harsh on my system than if I go to Starbucks and ask for a pumpkin spice latte. I don't know if they're just adding a whole bunch of extra stuff to it, but I feel like I just make my coffee and add a little bit of their creamer, and it's good. Like, you get the pumpkin spice without the digestive crisis.
Yeah. Well, what I find with like a latte from Starbucks is that, okay, so like I love a peppermint latte, but what I prefer is, instead of a peppermint latte from Starbucks, it's to make my own coffee and use peppermint creamer. Because I think that around this time of year are coming up, Silk makes the almond creamer in a peppermint flavor.
Oh.
Yeah. And when you have a latte from Starbucks, they use milk that has dairy in it, and then they use the syrup that has the peppermint in it. So it's got dairy in it, and then they use the syrup to make it taste like peppermint.
Wow.
And it's the same, I think, with the pumpkin. So it's possible that they're using pumpkin syrup and then dairy milk to make the pumpkin spice latte.
Oh, yeah. Unless you have some other option.
And they probably use an excessive amount of syrup.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
So my guess would be, like, when you have a pumpkin spice latte, like, that's full dairy latte. Like, that to me is like, that's going to sit real heavy on your stomach. And I don't know, like, but when they just use like the creamer, I think there's something different about the creamer.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
But you know what, you guys? Okay. So in my like wellness journey, I do Weight Watchers, and I just find that when I'm tracking my food, I'm better at counting points than I am like trying to figure out calories. So the other day, because of Stephanie Fleming, I went to Starbucks and I got that cold brew with the pumpkin spice cream in it.
Oh, my daughter just got that today.
Yeah, well, of course I liked it, but it had 13 points.
Oh. Aren't you only at like 20 or something?
Well, I mean, you're only supposed to have a certain amount of points a day. So I didn't eat dinner that night because I was trying to stay under a certain amount of points. And I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I mean, I'm trying to, like, I am on a wellness journey, and I am trying to do this right. And once I put it in my tracker, I was like, well, that's it for the day. Like, I can't.
That would make me so sad.
Yeah, it did make me sad, but I was trying to do it right. So I didn't have anything else that day. And I definitely was excited about breakfast the next morning. But, so
you did some intermittent fasting that night.
Yes, I did, but I didn't plan ahead. I should have planned ahead and known. I should have looked it up first. And that's what happens when you're not prepared.
Do you do like Weight Watchers, the app, or do you go to the meetings and everything?
Well, I only do the app right now. Okay. I used to go to the meetings, but there's not a meeting right now that is close to my house that is convenient for my schedule because I've got so much going on. Right. With my son in baseball and everything, like, I'm trying to get to all the baseball games, and I'm trying to edit 100 podcasts and just everything else that's happening. So I'm not going to meetings face to face right now. But one of the things that I do like about the app is that anytime that I need to chat with someone, there's this like whole social media aspect of Weight Watchers called Connect.
Okay.
So there's a social media side of Weight Watchers too. So nice. I have my Spiced Health Challenge where those girls over there are chatting all the time. And if I need to like pop in and say, like I tracked all week, but I didn't get my water in or whatever, I'm over there kind of talking to them. And then I can talk to the people on Weight Watchers too. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, I really like it. But, to find out that the drink that you just had was 13 points is,
Jeez, right?
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, I don't even think about those kind of things, like if I go to Starbucks, but now I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, no, I'm drinking. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm drinking a cup of coffee.
Nice. I'm finishing up my coffee this morning
but it's
too.
just black coffee. Like that's all it is.
Oh, I cannot drink black coffee.
Yeah.
Not.
But it doesn't have anything in it. Like nothing 13 points.
Yeah. So now it's like.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
okay.
Man. Okay. So the next thing on our currently page is, what are you loving right now?
Oh man, there's like so many things. Oh man. Okay, so I guess there's one thing that I'm loving. I recently switched from a desktop computer back to a laptop, and I'm really loving that. It's kind of a pain when you edit videos. I don't know if you edit on a MacBook, but their laptops kind of suck with storage.
Really?
But, yeah, they're horrible. Unless you want to get the version of their laptop that's like $5,000, which I do know. So I do have to do things like on an external drive, which is fine. It took some time getting the hang of it, but I like it because I'm not trapped at my desk anymore. Like I can move, I can have it with me when I travel, because that was a big stressor for me, was that if I didn't get something done, I didn't have my computer to lean on. And I had a laptop before and I felt like I needed a desktop. And then I got into YouTube and was like, no, I need a laptop.
Exactly. Yeah. Laptop is the way to go for YouTube.
Yeah. So it worked out so much better. And I think I've had it about a month now. And I really love it. I really do. I mean, you have to be smart about the storage situation, but other than that, you get used to it, and yeah, you can just roll with it.
So what kind of laptop did you get?
I got the MacBook Air. I'm not really sure of I know it's like the most recent one or whatever.
The new MacBook Air is pretty.
Yeah. My work actually just picked those up for all the teachers this year. The only issue that I have with it is not having that USB and having the USB-C, I think. So not having the standard USB drive. That kind of drives me nuts.
Okay, so mine has the USB drive. I opted for the Air that has the USB drive because I was like, I already have to, it's just, I felt like I needed that. Yeah. I think if you upgrade one more, they don't come with the USB drive, which is like mind-boggling to me. Like the more expensive they get, like the less plug-in options you have.
Exactly. That's
right.
What
it's so weird.
Things, but
yeah, you need all these like little extra connectors, and I was like, now I just need the one with the USB drive. Yeah.
That's so ungrateful because my work picked those up for all the teachers.
Yeah. Oh, I wish the government would switch to Mac, but I'm sure they have some sort of contractual obligation with Dell for some ungodly reason. But
oh my gosh, my government job, we're with HP. Like we've had Hewlett Packard forever.
Oh really? Oh man.
My work laptop and my work desktop is HP, but I have not used my work laptop for any reason. It's been at home for months. I have a MacBook that I absolutely love and I use it for every single thing. And I have an external mouse that I use, but then I do all of my podcast editing on an iPad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I sometimes if I'm on the go, like really, really on the go, like if I'm at the ball field or whatever, I'll edit it directly on my iPhone. But I prefer to use my Apple Pencil and edit with my iPad if I'm at home.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have not figured out the best way to edit with my MacBook. I know that I can use iMovie and edit our podcast with my MacBook, but exporting takes a really long time from the MacBook when it doesn't take quite as long from the iPad or the phone.
Oh wow.
I actually figured out how to make it take less time. I'll tell you after this.
Okay, all right. I'm interested to hear that because I don't understand I don't know what's going on.
Because of the length of it, because they're over an hour.
Yeah, I know they are long. So, Caitlin, what are you loving right now?
I am loving my Franken planner setup.
I
am
knew you were
literally
going to say that.
I am
Yeah.
obsessed since it's like all together. And it's really nice for me also from like a functional perspective to just have like one thing where everything is. I know I have all of my sections. I don't have to like run around the house and look for different planners. If I'm going to film a video in it, I only have to grab one. I don't have to look under like my stacks of dead planners in my drawers to
Right.
find which one I'm using. So that's what I'm loving right now.
Well, maybe I'll add my work stuff into my classic planner and see what happens.
Yeah, I really actually like it because I mean, it might work better for me because I work from home. So like having it like on the couch next to me and being like, oh, okay, well, I need to write down the kids stuff and then flip to the work section and need to lesson plan a little bit. It just works pretty well for my work situation.
Well, I left my work planner at work over the weekend this weekend
Oh,
and didn't
no.
even. No, I did it on purpose. I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
let's see if this planner can live here.
Yeah.
Because it weighs a lot, it's hefty, and I was just like, I don't touch it a lot when it's at home. And I usually bring it on Mondays and leave it for the whole week and then bring it home with me over the weekends. But this weekend I was like, I don't usually mess with it, so I just left it and it was fine. So there's no reason for me to move that stuff into my classic planner because I just leave it at work all the time. So
Yeah.
having two is not really a problem. Well, I am also loving my planner setup. So it's funny
Nice.
that's funny that that's what you're loving. And I'm also loving my Papermate Inkjoy.
Oh,
Is that what they are?
yeah.
Is it Papermate?
Those are
and
awesome.
Yes, and I know that is not anything new. I know that everybody has the Inkjoy gel pens, but for whatever reason, just when I was making my currently page, I was just like, I love these pens. And I just had this moment, where I was just like, I love these pens so much that I'm just going to write it down right now how much I love these pens.
Oh,
So I always like buy another set, and I have a set at work, and I have a set in my office at home, and I have a set like in my little bag that stays in my bedroom for when I'm journaling, and I like them very much. So that's what I'm loving right now. So
Yay.
yeah, they're good pens, and I love my planner setup, and planner life is good.
It is good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Julie, what are you dreaming?
I'm dreaming of leaving my day job.
Oh, yes.
About that.
That just like rolled off the tongue.
Yeah. Tell us about this.
So I work in a pretty stressful environment. At least I think it's kind of stressful. And so I guess you could say like my job satisfaction has gone down a little, and it would be awesome to, or at least what I've been dreaming of, is to be able to make what I do as my side hustle my full-time job and not be stuck working for someone else. That would be fantastic. So I currently work for the government. I work for the military. And while it is definitely an honor and a privilege to serve military members and their families, I don't work directly with patients. I am on the administrative side of things. I guess it could translate into the civilian world as an executive administrative assistant, is what I do. And it can take its toll on you, because I have found days where I would love to focus more on what I'm doing in my content creator life instead of sitting there in another meeting about a meeting about a meeting.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have more control of my time. Like on days like today where I'm off from work, I've gotten way more done in the first like 4 hours of my day than I normally get done all week, because I'm at work, and it takes me away from the things that I'd love to be able to get done here while being able to run my own business. So that's what I'm dreaming of, is to one day not have to ever leave my house and talk to people.
Yes, girl. It is amazing. Like, I work for somebody else, but I work from home, which I never thought I'd be able to do as an educator. I know, I just can't. I think
Caitlin.
everybody, Leanne, you better put in your application right now for North Carolina Connections Academy. But I never thought I'd be able to as an educator to be able to work from home. But it was the same thing. And the thing that like really tipped it over for me was I had a little baby at the time who is now 4, and I didn't want to be take him to daycare. He was so tiny and I hated it every single day.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to work from home. So got this, Julie. You're going to be the owner of your own dreams.
Well, I have a really good friend who just texted me this morning, and we haven't talked in a while because life has been so busy. And you know how when you get one of those texts from somebody you haven't heard from in a while, you get really excited and it's like, oh my God, how are you? And she was like, well, I just quit my job 2 weeks ago and I'm working from home now. And I was like, I am so tired of all of these people in my life telling me about how they're working from home. And I'm just like, you know what? I want to work from home.
Better do it.
And I have a dream schedule. Like my job is amazing. You know what I mean? Like I really do. Julie, I teach film and creative writing. Like that's what I do in my high school. Yeah. So it's not like I'm over here, you know, I mean, I'm a teacher and I have to show up at my brick and mortar job every single day and I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning and there are things about it that suck. But honestly, I do have the dream schedule here. But, you know, all of my friends now are like, well, I'm working from home and I've got on my pajamas and I haven't put on pants in 2 weeks. And I'm just like, oh my God, like,
pants are overrated.
So, there are really downsides to it though, to working from home, because honestly, nobody takes me seriously that I'm actually working from home. They're like, oh, you can like pick up my kid, right? Like you're home, so you could like help me out. Or like my mom's like, I'm going to come over and we're going to organize your cabinets. I'm like, no, dude, I'm working.
Right.
I'm working.
I know. My mom has worked from home like for the past 20 years, and I've always done that to her. I'm like, whatever, you're not working. Like, I'm just going to drop my kid off at your house.
So there are downsides. It's not all just like no pants and like eating frosting out of a can. Like, it's not all.
Yeah,
like,
I know. And
I honestly think I don't have the discipline to stay home all the time. I know myself too well. I would never wear pants, and I'd probably also never get anything done because I'm easily distracted.
But you're a Monica. You would be fine. You would be fine. You would write you have an hourly schedule. You have an hourly Erin Condren planner. You would just fix your day in your planner every day and you would know what you were doing.
Yeah.
You know, like I have this idea that I would figure it out. You know what I mean? That I would do it. But really I would probably be just like sitting in my bed all day long watching reruns of Friends, eating frosting from a can.
That sounds magical.
That does sound awesome, doesn't it?
Gosh, that's fantastic.
That's what I'm dreaming. That's what I'm dreaming of, is one day just being able to
Geez, well, on that note, Julie, what are you feeling right now? Let's get deep. What are you feeling?
What am I feeling? Oh, man. I think that I am feeling excited. I feel like there's just a lot of, you know, great things happening in the community and as far as like the planner community and stuff, and great things happening with my family. And I just feel excited for, even though we're not anywhere, you know, close to January, I am excited for 2020. And just, I feel like 2019 was a great year, but it came with a lot of like trials for me health-wise. But I'm excited for the future. I really, really am. I feel hopeful that things will get better and just, you know, staying a little bit more positive. Yeah. That's about it. I'm feeling excited. So, and it's a good place to be because I haven't always been so excited. A lot of times my answer would have been, I'm feeling really overwhelmed or I'm feeling tired, but I'm honestly just feeling excited. Yeah.
It's great.
So,
you're feeling positive.
Cool.
The future is bright.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Perfect. So then that's great. I love that. That's wonderful. Let's see. So then the last one on the list is, what are you listening to?
What am I listening to? All of the hip hop I can possibly consume.
Yes, that's awesome.
That's right. I would love to say that I listen to like a lot of YouTube or podcasts or things like that. Usually I listen to those things or watch YouTube when I'm on my treadmill. But other than that, I try not to consume too much of those things.
So we're talking about hip hop. Are you talking about like
90s.
Current hip hop? 90s hip hop.
Nope. I can't do the current stuff.
Yeah, it's like all auto-tuned and stuff. I don't like it either.
It is. So I love like 90s on 9 on like XM radio. Sometimes it's a mixture of all of it, but yeah, just some 90s hip hop is what really like gets me going.
Perfect.
If I could listen to that every day before I go into my office, I think I would have a better work day. If I could play it in my office, I would for sure have a great work day. But, nobody wants to hear me jamming to Tupac, apparently. So.
I definitely would.
Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That is some quality listening entertainment.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
All right. Cool. So the next thing we have on our list, we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit, is I know that you are a survivor of thyroid cancer, and I also know that September was Thyroid Cancer Awareness Month, thanks to your Instagram stories. So if you're comfortable, I was just wondering if you would share a little bit about your health journey with us.
Oh, sure. Like when I was diagnosed and everything.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I don't mind at all. I actually, when I was younger, I had a hard time sharing this story. But now that as I'm getting older and more people are being diagnosed with thyroid cancer and more women are being diagnosed with thyroid cancer, I actually love sharing my story. I was actually diagnosed in 2004, the day before my 24th birthday, and two days before Mother's Day. It was one hell of a weekend. I found out on a Friday. Like I remember the day of the week and everything. So I was originally, I was getting very sick quite frequently, and it was just thought that it was, either strep or bronchitis, just all of these things. And I went to go get checked one day by my doctor, and he had noticed a lump by my collarbone, and he was just kind of like, it could just be an enlarged lymph node because you keep getting sick, and, let's go ahead and take out your tonsils, which of course at like 23, if anyone knows, the older you are, removing your tonsils is like, you might as well just have an extremity amputated. It is unreal.
Oh no, that sounds awful.
I don't know how kids do it, but apparently it's just less traumatic for kids. And as you get older, removing your tonsils it's really hard to recover from. And I wasn't recovering very well. Like from the second I had my tonsillectomy, I actually sneezed in post-op, which if you know anything about when you sneeze, I actually busted the stitches where my tonsils were removed. Yeah. So it was blood everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
So they had to actually keep me overnight because I had to go back under, get restitched, all that fun stuff. It was a mess.
Yeah. That sounds awful.
So I was finally released, and I just wasn't healing normally. I was in extreme amount of pain, and I went to go see my doctor again, who happened to not be available for my appointment. It was almost like a blessing in disguise, but I had like a PA student that was checking me and, just kind of doing a quick little like physical exam of my head and neck and all of that. And he had felt the lymph node as well. And when he felt it, he like literally pushed himself back on his stool, like he was in shock. And I was like, what's going on? And he's like, you have this lump behind your collarbone. And I was like, oh, I'm aware. They said it was an enlarged lymph node. And he just kind of looked at me like, that's not what that should feel like. And he's like, well, to sort of, keep me calm, I think now looking back, he was just like, well, maybe we should just have it biopsied and just make sure that, it's nothing serious. And I was like, yeah, whatever. My husband was in Iraq at the time. So an enlarged lymph node was the least of my worries. I hadn't spoken or heard my husband's voice in 4 months.
Oh, wow.
And he was in a combat zone and that was not a thing. So I put it off actually for several months. I want to say it was 3 months where I did not go get that biopsy. I wanted to wait until my husband was home and he was settled from coming back from deployment. So, fast forward a few months, he's home, we go get the biopsy done. And I think that we all knew instantly as they were removing it, because I was having it done in the clinic. They didn't think it was a big deal. And it was a very big deal. It was much larger than it could be felt from the outside. And, it took a lot to get it out. It had like attached itself to the muscle in my shoulder. It was bad. So I could instantly tell from the doc talking to the nurse. He was like, take this down to the lab and have them, run it stat through pathology. I was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
No.
So, they stitched me up and they sent me home. And that was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by, I want to say 4 p.m., I had gotten a call from the nurse that said, and I know that, most doctors do things a lot differently now. But she had told me that I needed to come in the next day for their very first appointment, and I needed to not come in by myself.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
Oh, no.
If you got on Google in 2004,
Yeah, right? Whether
thyroid cancer is not what came up. I was thoroughly convinced I was going to die.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
The only thing that came up at the time was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And I was just like, I cannot believe this. I was like, I have a almost 2-year-old baby. I had my son or my daughter as well, who was about to be 5. And I was like, this is not happening. And, so we went into the doctor's office and, the military does some strange things.
Mm-hmm.
And when they deliver bad news, they bring the chaplain with them.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so he had walked in first, and instantly my husband and I started crying because we were like, this is really bad, really, really bad. And the doctor had said, just to get this out of the way, we ran your lump that was removed, and it was indeed a tumor, and it was cancerous. And I said, okay. And he said, you have metastatic papillary thyroid carcinoma, which is like a mouthful.
Yeah.
Which basically means I had
wow.
cancer, and it has spread from its original area, which is not good. And that I had cancer. And I said, I've never heard of this. And he went on to explain a few things, and I think I kind of sat there and the room was silent on my end. And I just kept looking at my husband and looking at the doctor and looking at my husband, am I dreaming? This is a nightmare, I'm
right.
23,
Yeah.
this can't be. And, at the end of it, he was like, do you have any questions? And I said, or my question was, am I going to die? He just looked at me like, that is not what I was expecting you to ask. And I said,
Really? That seems to
yeah, it's
be
a
like that would
legitimate
be
question.
everyone's
Yeah.
I
question.
said,
Yeah.
I have 2 babies here. They were in the room. And I said, that is the only thing that I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, you're not. And I was like, okay, then can I go use the bathroom? And he was just like, oh my God. And you could tell they had told all of the staff what was about to be told to me, because they were prepared with tissues at the front desk. I was like, I'm fine. I hadn't even really full on boo-hooed. I was still in so much shock. And I went to the restroom, and I think I just fell to the floor. I couldn't comprehend what I was just told. I was like, I'm 23. I've never heard of this thing. And this man is telling me I'm going to be just fine. But he also just told me I have cancer. And I just didn't understand. And, they further explained what my surgery would be like, because my cancer had already metastasized, which means thyroid cancer moves very slow.
Mm-hmm.
So for it to have moved as far as it has, and for me to have developed a tumor as large as it had, it was like I had, there's 3 or 4 types of thyroid cancer, and I had the lowest. So if there were stages, I would be stage 1.
Mm-hmm.
But because it had metastasized, the way it was explained to me, I was technically a stage 4.
Wow.
Because thyroid cancer travels through your lymph nodes, and it's physically impossible to remove every lymph node from your body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they were basically like, we're going to have to start looking at other lymph nodes to see how far this has spread. And I was like, I don't understand. And they showed me pictures of the incision that basically went from ear to ear. Around, imagine someone drawing a giant U in front of your neck.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I think that terrified me more than anything. I know that it sounds vain, but I was like, are you serious? They were like, yes, we have to do a full neck dissection and see just how far this is spread. And
wow.
Anyway, we didn't end up having to go that far. I was very, very lucky. I think from the very beginning, I have always been my own advocate. I was like, that seems super aggressive. I don't want to do that. Can we just try something else? And they listened to me, and I was really grateful for that, because at the time the doctors were very limited. We were stationed in Germany at the time. And my options were to be flown back to the States, but they couldn't fly my whole family back, so it would just be me. Or to go and see the doctors out in the, what we like to call the economy, which was to have a German doctor perform my surgery and take care of me. And I chose to have the German doctor take care of me. And it was, equally terrifying because doctors are required to speak English, but not the nursing staff. There were definitely some communication barriers.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, fast forward, within a month, I had my thyroid removed and all of the lymph nodes removed from the left side of my neck, which was just, you don't realize what your thyroid or lack of thyroid does to your body.
Right.
It controls everything. A lot of people think, oh, you have your thyroid removed, you just take thyroid replacement. Well, your thyroid controls everything, the texture of your skin, your hair, your eyes, your memory. It's not just your metabolism. It controls your digestive system.
So are your health-related issues, are they linked to your thyroid removal? Because I know you talked about having other health issues too. Okay.
Yeah, because I also had radiation treatment, which is how thyroid cancer is taken care of. It's not done through chemotherapy. At least not my thyroid cancer. So for a lot of people that may or may not know, but radiation therapy isn't like someone's, beaming something at you.
Right. Yeah.
It is radioactive iodine. So you spend about a month going on what's called a LID diet or a low iodine diet. And that just brings down your iodine levels. But then what they do is they give you radioactive iodine so that the uptake attacks those parts, that need to be, radiated and gone for good, hopefully. In my case, that did not work.
Oh, no.
Unfortunately, not even a year later, my cancer had come back. I had actually developed more tumors behind my other collarbone. And I had to have another surgery done. So they just opened up my incision where my thyroid is and kind of went down and removed the tumor there. And I had to do radiation again. I think the hardest part that I could probably share with anyone about a thyroid cancer journey is that it's not the surgery that will do you in. It's the radiation treatment. When you have radiation, you are on a time and distance like kind of like a guideline with people. Like I had a toddler and my daughter was 5 at the time and my son was just turning 2, but you can't touch them. You can't hug them. You can't kiss them. You're put in a room by yourself for 2 to 3 days where the nurses don't even come and talk to you. They just kind of put your food on a tray and push it into the room and shut the door really quick because you are radioactive. You are literally dangerous to healthy people.
Right.
So when I got home, I think it was about a total of a month the first time, I had to sleep on an air mattress. All of my stuff was kept separate, utensils, everything. I couldn't handle their food. And all of that takes an emotional toll on you, aside from already having cancer.
Right. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Now you're told that the one thing that can treat you is going to keep people away from you when you need them the most. And I had to go through that 3 times, and it was so extremely difficult. I was very lucky that my 3rd time I was diagnosed, the cancer was so small that they didn't feel that I needed to have another surgery, but I did have to go through the radiation again. Unfortunately, it had to be documented that I was over radiated. I actually became very, very ill. But I was very lucky to where after that, my cancer did not come back. I've had several scares since then. The most recent was this past year, which was truly terrifying. I just thought to myself, I don't want to go through this again, and I don't want to put my family through this. Because more than anything, it does take a toll on the people who care for you the most,
Right.
And that's what I thought of more than anything. Not myself. I'm like, lock me in a room, do whatever you have to do. But I didn't want to be a burden to anyone. And so, I probably rambled for like 30 minutes. So I'm so sorry, but
it's a fascinating story, and I'm glad that you shared it.
Yeah. And a reason why, and I didn't get to keep up with it as much as I wanted to, but the reason why I love sharing my thyroid cancer stories, because mine, it came by surprise. I am a woman. I was young when it happened. It was basically, at the time, every statistic out there, back in 2004 would tell you that thyroid cancer was an older man's disease. It was very rare for young women to get it. And I am part of like a tumor research study in Germany, which is really, really awesome. So they follow up with you yearly to see how you're doing, because they want to see, what's the life expectancy of people. This is just how they gather data and stuff. And so, it's awesome to be a part of that. I love sharing my story because a lot of times people don't realize that if they're continuously ill or if there's unexplained things going on with them, I always urge them to have their thyroid labs ran, because people will be like, oh, I had blood work done. Well, thyroid labs are not part of general blood work. And you can actually have the blood test done to see if there's something going on with your thyroid. And you could get, you might have a thyroid disorder. It might not necessarily be cancer, but you could have a disorder with your thyroid, and it could be affecting your overall wellness. And it's just so important to get that checked, especially as women, because it even affected my fertility. I had 2 miscarriages from this. Oh, wow. And I just, it when I say it wreaks havoc on your body, it wreaks havoc on your body. And people think, oh, it's just about, you're just going to have a slow metabolism. It's way more than that. It's way more than just your metabolism. So, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank goodness your most recent scare, I guess came up cancer free. I mean, so how long, are you considered, I don't know the terminology, like, are you considered in remission or cancer free, or what do they call you?
I think in my case, it's a little bit different. They don't like to use the word remission with me because my cancer was metastatic. Right. I take a replacement for my thyroid every single day, but that replacement for me is also what's keeping me alive. So the same person sitting next to me could have a thyroid disorder, is taking the same medication as me to help their existing thyroid function better. I am taking the hormone not to replace my thyroid, but to suppress the hormone in my body that creates tumors.
Oh, okay.
So the way my doctor explained it to me was, once you have metastatic cancer, it is really almost impossible to remove it 100%. So I may never be 100% cancer free, but right now it's so low that nothing is being detected. And that was where the scare came this past June, was that they ran my lab work, and it was 8 times the level it should be, which in my body means that there is somewhere in my body creating this hormone, which means that there could be a tumor existing somewhere, which is really, really bad. What actually turned out happening was in January, my medication had been switched and my body became resistant to it. They switched brands, everything on me. And they were like, this one works so much better. You're going to feel great. And I truly felt great, but my body wasn't absorbing it. And my hormone levels were way thrown off. And the longer they stay that way, there's a greater risk of a tumor coming back and my cancer coming back. So,
okay.
So my lab work is checked quite frequently. At one point, I was, I guess, what you can consider remission, because I only had to get seen once a year. But because of what happened in June, I'm back to being seen every 3 months, just to have my lab work run, just like, precaution. And if I can make it a year, then we'll go to 6 months. If I can make it another year, then we'll go back to a year. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, my goodness, that's wow, what a scary story. Yeah. And I mean, to be 23 years old and have 2 tiny babies, like I can't even imagine. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for sharing the story with us.
And then to go through it 2 more times after that, man, you are just a rock star.
Like, you are so brave. And then to tell us that when we ask you how you're feeling, you're like, I'm feeling positive and I'm feeling excited. And then
I am. After this past year, I'm like, you can only go up. I hope, right?
Yeah.
I just always have hope. I always have hope that we can always go up from where we are now. So.
Yes. And just like everything, and I can see why you're like, well, I'm going to keep things clean and I'm not going to spend my life like laying around in the bed. Like,
Yeah.
I totally get it. Like, yeah. So you're like super inspiring. Like, you make me want to not spend my life laying around in the bed.
I know,
But
right?
and you make me want to go have my thyroid checked for sure. Like, I feel like,
Exactly.
I am not a doctor, but I definitely recommend if you're over the age of 30, at least have it looked at. I think that's where a lot of people fall through the cracks is they think, oh, I had my blood work done, I'm good. But like, did you have your
yeah.
thyroid blood work done?
Okay.
So yeah,
Well, I mean,
that's my recommendation. That's what I would definitely do.
Yeah.
well,
Well,
and I
and
mean,
for oh,
you
go ahead.
said, I'm sorry, Caitlin.
You're
Mhm.
good.
Well, I mean, you said that you were stage 1. Do you think that's because you caught it early, or?
I definitely think that it's because thyroid cancer does move so slow, and there's different
Okay.
forms of it. My grandmother
Okay.
also had thyroid cancer, but she had
Mhm.
what was considered stage 3. And because of her age, she wasn't treated as aggressively because it
Mhm.
probably would have done more harm than good. But
Mhm.
I have, of the 3 types of thyroid cancer, I have the least aggressive. It's just a bigger pain in the butt. Thyroid cancer in general is a
Oh.
pain in the butt. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
it kind of gets, thyroid cancer, I hate to say, gets a bad rap because a lot of people refer to it as the good cancer. And if anyone ever
Mhm.
says that to me, it kind of warrants an immediate punch in the face.
Yeah, I bet,
Oh.
man. I can't.
There is no good
I
Yeah, is there?
I
cancer.
have
There's no
had
good cancer.
Yeah, I have
No.
had doctors say that to my face. Well, at least you had this cancer. It's the easiest one. It's the good one. And I was
Oh,
like, I
jeez.
No.
clearly you have not been through this.
Right.
Because, one of the rounds of radiation I had, I actually lost my sense of taste for over 30 days. Um, and I
Awful.
cannot, I wasn't sure what was worse. I was like, I cannot believe this because radiation can affect like your salivary glands. And if your salivary glands aren't functioning, then that affects your ability to taste. And so mine had suffered a little bit of damage from the radiation. So I lost my ability to taste
Oh my
anything.
gosh.
I
Did they
mean, it
know if it
No.
was
was
going to come back?
no.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my, I cannot even
Oh.
imagine.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So they
That
would
makes
give
me want to
you these,
cry.
would give you these lemon drops that were extremely sour, and it was to activate your salivary glands, and it was like doing nothing. I was
Oh
like, I can't taste anything, so this isn't.
Oh.
man, yeah,
Oh
and
my
then you're probably
gosh.
already sick. Like, how do you have a drive to eat if you can't even
Right.
taste something or have a craving, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but
Oh,
it got better over time. I think it's my parotid gland. I'm probably saying it wrong, but one of them never completely heals. It's kind of a pain, but I can taste food. That is the only thing that
yay.
matters.
My gosh, look at
Yes.
see
Oh, thank
undying
goodness.
positivity. Look at you, positivity over there. I
I
love it.
know. You are so inspirational that you can taste those cookies.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That's why I'm like, really? The serving size is 3? That's not
Oh my gosh,
fair.
no. Eat 9. Eat 9.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man. All right. Well, that is our show for today. But Julie, we'd love to give you an opportunity to plug all of the things that you are
Oh gosh.
doing, or some of them, any of the ones that you want to share.
Oh my gosh. Well, you can find me on Instagram at Julie's Plans. Yes, there's an underscore in there.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, how dare you?
I know, I know. And of course, over on YouTube at Julie's Plans as well. And yeah, you can find all of my shenanigans and all of my planner reviews and plan with me's over there. So
Yes,
Yes.
and you are
And go
definitely
follow
worth
and go
watching.
subscribe.
Yes, you're worth watching and worth following for sure.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, I've loved having you, and thank you for being so open and just being so like willing to talk to us about, your
Absolutely.
story and everything. It's just been so wonderful, and
Mhm.
yeah, we've loved this. So, and you can find Caitlin at Creating in Chaos over on the YouTube, and you can find her
Mhm.
in Creating in Chaos underscore
No, don't say the underscore.
official on Instagram. So that is where you can find her.
Yep. And you can find Leanne at SpicedPlans on Instagram and YouTube, as well as Hello Happy Podcast. And they have all
Oh,
their socials and at our social. So at the Spiced Chaos Podcast, Instagram, YouTube, all of the things, Spotify. You know where to find
Yes.
us. You're listening to us. You know where to find this podcast.
Yes. So thank you again, Julie, for being a wonderful,
Thank you so
wonderful.
much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
You've been an amazing guest co-host, and we will talk to you guys in our next show. Bye.
Bye.